Hello and welcome to episode 26 of Stucky's Travels. Today we're going to bring you our third installment of Malaysia, in which we take you to Genting Highlands and Kota Kinabalu.
So, as we've said before, you need your hepatitis A, B, and typhoid shot and your passport, and you're ready to go. So, the first place we went was Genting Highland, northeast of Kuala Lumpur. You can take a bus for only 10 ringgit, and it's definitely worth it.
So, in order to get there, there's a few ways, but we went ahead and took the aerial tram or the Skyway, which was a really neat ride. We could see lots of beautiful mountains and hills up in the highlands.
Yeah, it was only 8 ringgit each way. Really good deal. You could get a glass bottomed gondola for a lot more, but I thought it was kind of scary and as it was. The left hand side was on our way up, but on the right hand side it had gotten cloudy throughout the day, and we were going through the clouds on our way back because it is really high up. You could take a bus up, but even just in the bit that we did take the bus up to get to the Skyway, I was a little bit seasick, so I was glad that we had chosen this method.
And here's Luke about ready to get on.
About halfway up the mountain, this is Chin Sui Cave Temple. It's a Buddhist temple. We actually thought that the Skyway was going to stop here. It didn't. So a little bit more research will be necessary to figure out how you're supposed to get here. I think you might have to take a bus or a taxi.
So at Genting Highlands, it's a huge complex with lots going on. But we were there in 2019, and it was the 80th anniversary for Batman. So DC had a huge exhibit, a bunch of exhibits all over the place, kind of illustrating that.
So there were multiple hotels up on top of the mountain, and so different ones had different themes. There were ones that were family friendly and kid friendly, ones that were more for adults with casinos and so on.
There are also a lot of things to see outside as you walk around. This is a nice little garden area, little gazebo, and over where this person is, there's a nice overlook. It was fairly cloudy when I was there, and so it was really hard to see down below, but when it's not cloudy, it's a really nice view.
So there was even an indoor theme park, and you could either buy a bracelet that would let you have unlimited rides throughout the day, or you could pay per ride. There's also an outdoor theme park. It wasn't open when we were there, but we could see the rides.
Yep. Within this complex, there was also Ripley's Believe It or Not, as well as an indoor snow skiing place. And you could get in line, pay a certain amount, and you get to be in there for, I think, half an hour at a time.
Yeah, there was an arcade. So just a lot of, like we said, family-friendly things. There's shopping as well, food, casino for gambling, and so on. So this was a really cool feature, I guess you'd say. It's called Sky Symphony. I would highly recommend looking up a YouTube video on Sky Symphony Genting Highlands. Because of the 80th anniversary of Batman, there was a special movie for that. But these balls would come from the ceiling. It was called a kinetic sculpture, and they would light up and form different things. So like it would make words. So like the "Long Live the Bat" would like actually come out of the sky. It was really, really cool. There's the rides.
Yep. Amir is on the ride on the right.
One of the things that sets the Resort World Genting apart from some of the other places is it's the world's largest hotel. So it actually beats out all those huge Las Vegas hotels with 7,351 rooms. So it holds the Guinness World Book of Records. First world a hotel does.
Now, we didn't stay here, but most of the rooms were actually sold out.
Yeah, so. We wanted to stay here, but the rooms were sold out, which is why we couldn't.
So next we fly from, or we left mainland Malaysia and went to the island of Borneo, in which we find Kota Kinabalu.
Yeah, so we actually happened to go to Brunei first, but There are many flights every day going back and forth between Kota Kinabalu and Kuala Lumpur. So pretty easy to get an Air Asia flight. Kota Kinabalu is located right on the ocean, but there's also national parks just inland, including Mount Kinabalu National Park, which is the highest point in all of Malaysia.
So this is not climbing Mount Kinabalu, but this was right outside our hotel, which took us to a really nice lookout. A lot of steps, but it was definitely worth it.
It was called Signal Hill, and you can see some of the really cool views from that. We went in the morning when we first got there, but we also went at night so we could see the difference. So we went to a mall called One Borneo Hyper Mall. We actually had plans of eating somewhere else called Shell Out, but it wasn't open. So we walked across the way to a mall, to a little shop that Amira had been to before. And on the left, Luke doing what he does best, eating two meals. He actually let Amira choose his meal in the center there, and that's called Mi Basa Ayam. And it was more of a noodle soup type of thing. And then he went and got some sushi afterwards.
Yep, and I had Nessie I am,
And apparently it was pretty spicy, even for Miles.
but it was okay. It was good tasting.
Of course, my favorite thing is donuts. So I was really excited that there was a shop called Big Apple Donuts across the way. So when Luke got sushi for his second meal, we got donuts for our dessert. So I got an Oreo donut.
And I got some strawberry filled donut that was delicious.
Yeah, so they were a little less than $1 per donut, so expensive by Malaysian standards, but I was excited to try one anyway.
And then we got to see Amira's campus. So Amira goes to University of Malaysia in Sabah.
And it's actually an eco campus, and one of the things they do when you enter the campus is charge you a fee. There's a lot of tourists who visit the campus, partly because it's right on the ocean, partly because of this beautiful pink mosque, and because it's an eco campus. So 5 ringgit per person to come on campus. And this is the mosque that's there.
And you could rent bikes if you wanted to. We just walked for the most part, but you could rent bikes right at the entrance too.
This is inside the mosque. We were not allowed to go inside, so Amira took pictures for us. There's her logo for her school. These steps were outside on the campus, and I thought they were just really, really cool. It's a great idea to paint the edge of the steps so that as you look at the stairway, it sort of makes a mural.
Yep, and these steps were on the way up to the library, if I remember right.
I don't remember, but
Pretty sure.
in the middle, that's a clock tower that's kind of in the middle of campus. And on the right, those umbrellas are hanging from the top of the cultural center. The cultural center is where Amira goes for a lot of her traditional dance practices. That's just a nice place for students to meet and hang out too.
So another view of the clock tower. And lots of murals throughout. On the left is a mural by the or at the aquarium.
On the right, that is a mural that's at the cultural center talking about some of the things that the students can do while they're on campus. Another mural, this was in just in one of the hallways of one of the, I believe in the science building, maybe even. It's hard to believe that a college campus is right on the ocean. They have their own aquarium that you can pay to go into. It was 20 ringgit for tourists and 10 ringgit for locals. And there were sea turtles and other fish like the one that Miles is looking at. But really cool to have a beach right there on campus.
So here on the left, you see what's called snake fruit, also called salak. It looks kind of like snakeskin, but when you peel it open, then you have a nice fruit on the inside. It's kind of a dry fruit. Somewhat tasty, but definitely a unique taste for sure.
No one thought it was tasty except Miles. So we left the campus obviously at this point, and we went to some little markets. And on the right, those are all different dried anchovies with different seasoning on them.
Yummy. And there were lots of things throughout town, lots of neat sculptures, obviously representing sea life as It was right on the ocean.
Yeah, and then the I Love Kota Kinabalu sign that we made Amira pose with there in the center. This is the floating mosque. Again, we thought we were going to be allowed to go, but once we got up by the building, we were told that we weren't allowed in. So this was the picture that we were able to get from the spot we were allowed to be.
Yep, and there's three floating mosques in all of Malaysia. We were lucky enough to see two on our trip.
So these are some interior pictures that Amira was able to get for us. So one of the cool experiences that she wanted us to have while we were there is Steamboat Bakar. When her friends are celebrating something like a birthday or a big event, they choose to go to this place, and they bring out this thing that you see here in the center. It's got a fire underneath, and then it's got water boiling on the sides, and so you can either cook your meat on top or you can steam it boil it in the water around the edges.
Yep, and it's kind of tricky to know how long to cook your stuff. They kind of give little instructions. I think Amira kind of helped us too. It seems odd that you're cooking your own seafood and hoping that it's done.
Yeah, there was all sorts of things. There was beef, chicken, but also crab and shrimp and squid, I think. And it was just really cool to go over to a cooler and pick out all the different things you wanted yourself and then just cook them right there at your table.
Yep, and you can spend as long as you want there for the same price and just keep on eating if you want.
So it was a little bit more expensive for Malaysia. It was 28 ringgit, but that's about $7 US. So $7 US for all you can eat seafood basically is a pretty good deal. They also had little salad, 6 flavors of hard hand dipped ice cream, and then and make your own ABC. So the stuff on the right is called ABC. It's sort of like their ice cream, kind of. You blend up ice, put on some condensed milk, different flavoring. Oftentimes theirs will have like corn or beans in it. Since it was make your own, I left those things out on mine.
Yep, in the middle I've got a chicken foot, so you could cook up your own chicken foot and eat it. I just tried a little bit because it's kind of odd eating a chicken foot, obviously. But as you can see on Luke's plate, you can also get different types of noodle, rice to go along with all of the stuff you're cooking up.
So the next day was Sunday. So the Sunday market is a big weekly event that went for several city blocks. It was only a couple of blocks away from our hotel. The first thing that Luke bought was an avocado drink for 2 ringgit. You can see there that's a pretty good deal for 50 cents. He drank part of it, but actually gave it to me because it was sweet. It really didn't taste anything like avocado. It was more of a sweet drink, surprisingly.
And although Luke doesn't exactly like sweet things, he really enjoyed this pineapple drink. The guy basically cut it open, stuck a blender down in the pineapple, mixed it up, and put a straw in it.
Yeah, it was a little bit more expensive. It was 15 ringgit, but you're getting the entire pineapple and kind of the show of watching how they created this tool that blended up and pureed the pineapple. It's pretty neat. There was a Pizza Hut also. This personal pan pizza was only 5 ringgit, so $1.25 for a personal pan pizza. And then KFC, lots of KFCs in Southeast Asia. So this is at the airport, getting ready to leave Kota Kinabalu. We were very impressed by Kota Kinabalu. Amira has a beautiful town where she goes to college. We would love to go back and explore Borneo a little bit more someday. We didn't go to the other state, Sarawak. We didn't go to Indonesia, which is known for having monkeys, orangutans. So a lot more to explore another time in Kota Kinabalu.
Yeah, even in Sabah, there's orangutan places, and we didn't get a chance to do that either. So, yep.
So you'll love Kota Kinabalu when you go, but you need to allow yourself plenty of time so that you can do a lot of different things. There's also islands off the coast that you can take a ferry boat out to. We didn't allow ourselves enough time with what time our flight was, but that would be a really cool experience as well.
Yep. So, hope you enjoyed.
See ya.